Hey guys, Lawrence here from Unicorn Bikes, and there's no time for introductions today because I finally received what I hope are all the parts for my new bicycle. There's still a massive amount of room here in the center, which is where the frame will go when that finally shows up, but I can't wait any longer. So today I'm going to show you all the parts that are going on my Actofive P-train CNC, and I'm also going to start by assembling the wheels and stuff, just to keep busy while I wait for the frame. So let's first go over the parts, and I'm just gonna unbox these one by one. It's gonna be a pretty lengthy video, but hopefully it will be interesting to those who are interested in these brakes, for example, but don't know exactly what comes with them. So let's start by doing that. First up, the Hayes Dominions. The box itself doesn't really show much, so let's re-angle the camera and give you guys a better look. Alright, so the Dominions, these are the A4, aka apparently the second best brakes in the world, because the Trick Stuff Maximas are just a bit too much for me. But box is pretty nice. There's this big flap over here, and I guess this part holds the brakes. As per usual, you get brake pads with these. That's cool. Look at the size of these pads though. Massive. But yeah, that's cool. Comes with brake pads. Comes with a bleeding block, because bleeding these brakes is one of the key selling points. So it's good that it comes with a bleeding block. You get some paper to tell you that if you assemble this the wrong way and you die, it's your own fault. You get some fittings and some bolts. Cool. And then of course the brakes themselves. So let's get this all out of the way and have a look at the brakes. I like how it's all cardboard packaging with only minimal plastic on here, so that's pretty cool. And then we have our brake lever. This is gonna look good. Oh boy, yeah. Very smooth, of course. It doesn't really mean much when you're just taking it out of the box. So obviously dot fluid in these, very nice little bits of adjustment here. That's cool. They don't rattle. There's some rattle from the caliper. You got your travel adjustment in there. Yeah, feels good. Feels really good. Let's have a look at the caliper. Gorgeous caliper. I love this bronze. I actually wanted to go with these brakes, and the entire color scheme of the bike is built up around it. So lovely bronze brake. And the cool thing about these Dominions, I think, is the dual bleed ports. So you can bleed the left pods and the right pods at the same time, or at different times, to get every single bit of air out. They look absolutely amazing. And there are also brake pads in here. So you get two sets of brake pads and one little plastic thing to, not destroy these when you're feeling the lever before installing them on a bike. So yeah, they're really cool. Weight-wise, they're not that bad actually. I thought they'd be heavier, but yeah, you can look at the grams and stuff. I'm just, getting them in my hands and feeling what they weigh like. So brakes, yeah, digging it. Feel really good, very smooth. But stopping power, we'll have to see. Also, something I forgot to tell you about is another awesome feature, but they have these little grub screws here, or set screws, depending on what you want to call it. So you can put it on your bike, and then instead of squeezing the lever and tightening down the bolts and then the brake caliper moving a little bit, you can actually use these little grub screws to perfectly center your brake caliper. So awesome. I love these, even though I haven't tried them yet, but everyone seems to love them, so it would be strange if I didn't. All right, next up, slightly less interesting, I guess, but still very interesting to look at. Our rotor. So I went with the Hayes as well. So these go with the A4 Dominions. D-series rotor, 180mm, 7-inch, whatever, with hardware. So it's cool that it comes with hardware. I also, look at this bag. It's not the easiest to rip open, but it's a resealable bag. So this is great for people like me who do unboxings and then put everything back in the box. But this is our rotor. Just a single piece of metal, really. Minimum thickness 1.7 mils, so it's nice that it's on there. You can make sure everything's right. Rotation is on there. Some labels are on there. There we go. And then we get some hardware. So these are just nuts, bolts, I'm sorry. Now, just a quick thing I want to talk about. Right, so this is just the bolts with some thread locker on there. So I actually prefer the Shimano thing where they join up two bolts and have a little clip on there so they can't vibrate loose. I've had so many SRAM rotors come loose, but I've never had a Shimano rotor come loose. So I'll probably be using this little bracketry on these bolts as well, or with the Shimano bolts, because these seem to be serrated and these are smooth on the bottom. So probably going to use Shimano bolts just to make sure nothing ever comes loose. Now, to mount these rotors to my wheels, I actually forgot that I needed adapters because, well, I'll show the wheels later, but Hayes only has the 6-bolt discs and I have center lock rotors. So here is just a Shima adapter. It was the lightest one I could find and decently priced as well. So basically all you do is you bolt the adapter onto your rotor and then you bolt the assembly onto your center lock. Should be easy enough. So next up are the wheels. Now this is a bit strange. They come very weirdly packaged. Now I don't know if this is because I bought them at R2 Bike and they buy bulk versions for bike builders and they sell you a cheaper version of the exact same product, but you just don't pay for packaging, or if this is actually how Shimano ships them. I have no idea, but it seems to be somewhat decently packaged, whatever this is. I have no idea. Let me know in the comments whatever this is, guys. I'm very interested in finding out. But let's look at the wheel itself. There we go. So this is a Shimano XT wheel. It's not the widest, as you can see, but the reason I went for it is A, they were actually available, but also just to get the color scheme to work, and you know, why not try these? I've heard good things about them, they're decently priced, and the color scheme is going to work for me, so that's why I of course went with the Shimano XT trail wheels. Yeah, looking very good, not too heavy. And of course this center lock mount here as well, which is why I needed that little adapter thingy. 15 mil axle, I think, slightly greased. But yeah, that's the wheels. Cool thing, they come with valves, so I don't have to go out and buy valves because I forgot to order them. I also found some plastic bits in here. So these are just some protection thingies for during shipping, so you don't damage your hubs. Cool stuff, even though I can't actually get them on again. But anyway, that is my wheel set. I'm also going to grab the rear wheel. Spin test approved, and again center locks, so that's why I had to get the adapters. Let's do one more spin test. Now of course a wheel is pretty useless without tires, so I bought the Vittoria Martellos for the front and for the rear. These are the trail versions, so not the enduro versions that I was running on the Spectral when I reviewed these tires. So I'll link with the card in the top right corner if you want to see my review of the Martellos. I think I also reviewed the Modus, but I wanted something slightly faster rolling because this is just a trail bike. That is also going to be an enduro bike, but yeah, just tires. Nothing very special to talk about here. The next little combination of parts is this saddle, which actually delayed the shipment most of all. Apparently saddles are impossible to come by, and also a 1UP dropper post. I also ordered the 1UP remote because I couldn't really figure out what sort of matchmaking system I have on the Hayes Dominions. and the Shimano XT. So I may change the remote at a later date, but for now it's just the standard bar mount remote. Saddle wise, this is the Selle Italia Novus Boost Evo. It's a very short saddle, which hopefully is going to help me with not really getting hung up on the little tip of the saddle with my trousers. As you can see, incredibly thin here. Can I take it out? No, it's zip tied. It also has a bit of a curve up, so that's hopefully going to help me with climbing. This is actually for aero road bikes, but when you think about it, the position, how far you are bent forwards on an aero road bike is actually fairly similar to the position when climbing on an enduro bike, especially one with very long reach. So there we go. It's the budget model, steel rails. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money and get carbon rails on a saddle which is just going to get damaged the first time I crash the bike anyway. Of course, the saddle is held up with the one-up components. Big boy, like the really big boy. This is the biggest of boys. It's 210 millimeters of travel, and this is the 34.9 mil diameter model. So yeah, it's a big boy dropper post, but still fairly short compared to other brands with massive stack height here. So pretty stoked on this. Again, I was running a 180 version on the Spectral as well, so I know this is a good dropper post, and it's very easy to maintain and easy to buy parts, and availability at the moment on these is somewhat decent. So yeah, good stuff. Next up, the cockpit. This is the only carbon fiber part that will go on the bike, simply because I find carbon bars are slightly easier to run. They just don't vibrate as much. Now I could have gone with the one-up bars, but I actually wanted the Renthals because this kind of matches those brakes, doesn't it? Yeah, I may have gone a little bit too far with the bronze and grey black sort of color scheme, but I think it's going to look amazing. So these are the carbon Fatbars, 35 mil, 800 mil wide, because you know, gotta be a wide boy these days. So those are my bars. Then grips, Ergon to the rescue. I'm actually really digging these, not just for the color. Actually, yeah, I just bought these for the color. But these are the GFR ones. Maybe I'll go with a slightly thicker one. These are actually designed specifically to be very thin, so you can get a full grip around them. But yeah, they're very nice and soft. Bit of a waffle on, or like, it's not really a waffle, is it? It's more like a pancake. And then some grip on here as well. So it's going to be very nice when riding these. Feels good in the hand, not very heavy, perfect color. So Ergons, GFRs, and the color on these is not actually listed. I think they're like ghost color, or just look at some great grips. Those are the ones. And then an E13 35 millimeter stem. Main reason, availability. And I bought a bike with slightly longer reach than what I really want, because there's only 3 sizes. So I got the shortest 35 mil stem that I could find. It's nicely rounded, it's black, got some gray again to accent the gray grips, and the Shimano XT gray and the fork. So should be fine. Let's move on to the next parts. Right then, next up, the ROCKSHOX Pike Ultimate, because this fork I bought not necessarily because I definitely wanted a Pike, but this is somewhat affordable for the top of the line model, and it's a type of fork that I can like put on something like an Actofive P-train CNC without it looking out of place, but also without spending $2,000 on something from EXT or Formula. So let's get this one out of the box, because I don't know what's in this box, and maybe I'll have to go and buy a top cap in just a bit. It actually comes with a mud flap. Woohoo! Free mud flap with your €800 fork. Yeah man, it's even branded and everything. And pre-bent the wrong way around, so thank you SRAM. But yeah, little mud flap, some protection so it doesn't scratch, whatever. Then we get zip ties. 4 zip ties to hold your mud flap in place. A star nut, again, good that it comes with it, because I definitely forgot to order a star nut. some ROCKSHOX stickers and 2 volume spacers, the grey ones, whatever that means. Then we have cardboard packaging, and here she is. Take it out of the bag. That is so gorgeous. I've seen these before, but I've never seen a brand new one. I'm gonna do my best to keep it this clean. Now, it's not the lightest fork, I can tell you that much. But it's definitely feels high quality, at least. The axle, of course, is included. It's not a flappy one or quick release one, so I'll have to make sure I got a multi-tool with me when I'm riding this bike. But yeah, fork's looking good. I don't really understand why in 2021 we still need to use zip ties to put a mud flap in place. That's just stupid, because now I have to put this in here and then zip tie it on here, and then it's going to start scratching and there's going to be dust between the zip ties and the fork, and it's just a nightmare. So SRAM, ROCKSHOX, fix this. Fox has it figured out. Why not just put like 2 little bits of threaded holes in here and yeah, give us decent mud flaps. Oh well, let's put this one back in the box. And last but not least, our drivetrain. This is a full Shimano XT drivetrain, so everything from this little bottom bracket, which I hope is the right one, all the way to our chainring, our chain as well. So this is just a Shimano XT chain. Shimano products, they're just, I don't know, man, I prefer them over SRAM, and this is going to be quite controversial, but XT beats SRAM at the same price by quite a lot, I think. Plus, I get 10% more range. Yay! Or I could just lose some weight. Anyway, I think these are going to be the cranks. Shimano XT Cuttable direct mount. Why they couldn't just go with cranks if it's going to be direct mount anyway. Anyway, let's not get upset about mixing languages. Paperwork. Some trippy blue plastic packaging. So this is going to be the non-drive side, I think. Yep. Quite light, nice and black. Protective piece of plastic on here already, so please focus. Yeah, so we get some plastic protection on here already. That's awesome. Thank you, Shimano. I don't know why no one figured that out 20 years ago. But hey, I'm happy. And then in this little bag, we get the rest of the crank, pre-greased as well, so I'm not going to touch that one. I even pre-greased the inside threads. That's cool. There's also a hole in here, maybe that's so that you don't put it on at the wrong angle. I don't know, we'll have to find out when we assemble it. Because it's greased, there are already some spots on it though, probably from the grease touching the bag and then in shipping it moves around, so I'll have to degrease it. But again, some plastic protection on here, so I don't have to put any sort of protection on myself. Thank you, Shimano. Anything else in this box? Hopefully. Yes, our lock, so we can actually put the cranks on. Now, on these cranks, I'll need a chainring, so this is a Shimano XT 32 tooth, because it was available. Heck yeah. So, I'm pretty sure everyone's seen these already, but this is what it looks like. It's tiny for a 32, especially on a 29er. I'm gonna have to get a little bit fitter than what I am right now to push this, but yeah, cute little chainring. But Shimano boxes are still plentiful, so I don't know what this is. It doesn't actually, does it? Oh, there we go. This is our derailleur, the 12-speed 1x with a maximum of 51 tooth on the cassette for that sweet, sweet extra range. Here she is. Nothing extra in the box, just this reusable packaging if you don't just cut open the plastic. But yeah, there she is, Shimano XT derailleur. These are massive. Yeah. Big wheels, It's an XT derailleur, what else can I say about it? Next box, I'm guessing is the shifter. This is the shifter. So we got our shifter, hopefully this one comes with a cable. It does come with a cable. And of course an outer as well with ferrules on there already. Nice little Shimano XT shifter. Yeah, Shimano shifters there, I just like them. They're just so nice and clicky and listen to that. Multi-shift as well, you can push it to downshift or upshift, whatever you want to call it. Or pull on it. Love these. Awesome. Then we have this box, and maybe I'm being stupid, but I can't remember what, oh yeah, the cassette. Yay. I was kind of afraid that I got like a Shimano XT brake in here or something. But we're not going to go very far without a cassette, are we? So, the big boy. Maybe I should have gone with XTR, but this was available and actually quite decently priced as well. So you get some aluminium ones on the outside, some steel ones on the inside, no titanium. But yeah, value for money, nice cassette, very evenly stepped as well. So it's not like you go from a 40 to a 51, for example. So that's it for the parts. Let's start assembling my wheels. All right, I'm going to start off easy with the front wheel, just throw a tire on. I'm not going to put sealant in yet today, because why would I be wasting sealant when the frame isn't here yet? And I'm also going to find out whether or not I have a tool to actually put the center locks on. So that's going to be interesting. I don't need this. There we go, we got our motor and the world's sharpest blade. Seriously, buy one of these if you need like a sharp knife, because my god, these are awesome. He says while not cutting through. But yeah, the Vittoria Martello Trail, it's a good tire. It's the 29 by 2.6 that I bought because I hope a 2.6 is going to fit in the frame. I don't know yet. Alright, so disc brake is on the bottom side, so the wheel should rotate this way. The tire rotation direction is set to go this way. So I just need to line up some logos and Bob will be my uncle. Pretty annoying about these XT wheels though is that the valve is not in the center of this logo. So, alright, so because the Shimano logo is not like symmetrically colored, so this side here is like black instead of gray, I actually resorted to grabbing a tape measure, measuring from this point here of the decal to this point, which is about 40 centimeters, and then getting the valve at 20 centimeters right back bang in the middle. However, now the big test is this wheel, and is this tire decal actually correct on both sides? So let's see. Yep, spot on. Awesome. Thank you, Vittoria, for having your logos exactly in the same spot on both sides. Lots of brands can learn something from that. Alright, so after a while of figuring out why this thread didn't seem to go on far enough, I actually did the RTFM thing and saw that this part actually sandwiches the rotor in between these things, which is probably a lot more secure than just having the rotors on these little bolts. So yeah, I'm an idiot, but I am showing you guys this so that you're not an idiot. All right, so this is not the easiest thing to get out, but you can get it out. Then you put, let's actually move the camera a bit and zoom you all in. Woo. Zoom in like it's the future. So you just put this little metal aluminium doohickey, which is too close to focus on, onto your hub. Next up, you take your rotor, put that on here. Next up, you take this little thingamajig, put that on there, squash it in, take this little shim, take this little lock nut, put that on, and now the threads actually engage, and there you go. Your brake rotor is now installed. So despite screwing up, it's actually still a lot faster than using 6 bolts on your rotor. So yay, on to the next step. Have you guys noticed how this gray matches this gray? Yeah, I've gone really far on color matching this bike. So what I'm going to do next is put the cassette on in steps. Let's find the big cutout over here, line that up to the center, line that up with this one, and then pray, I guess. There we go. Now actually Shimano does come, or these cassettes do come with this tool, and then if you untighten this you can take the plastic out. So that's an easier way of doing it. I prefer to just do these one by one. Just make sure you don't mess up your spacers when you do it this way. Right then, so as you saw, my camera battery died, and while it was charging up again, I went to 2 stores, the only 2 that were open in a 20-kilometer radius, to buy the tool I need to lock the center locks on. And one of those did not have it, and the other one didn't want to sell loose parts without purchasing a bike as well. So to that dickhead I want to say, screw you. So I ordered online, and for the rest of this video we're just going to play pretend. So tick tick, tick tick, there we go, that's now torqued to spec. Second attempt. There we go. That's better. Got it on there. Now let's just slowly let it leak all the air off and then put the valve back in. Alright, so there we go. Both tires are inflated to, I think, 2 bar without any sealant in there, but that's just going to help the tire already conform to the wheel shape, because obviously when you just get them, they're all folded up and stuff. I could already start putting the cranks together, but I'm just going to wait with doing that until the frame arrives. Simon from Actofive just replied to me on Instagram saying soon, with a little timer, so hopefully it'll be here next week, maybe in 2 weeks, and then I can put the rest of the bike together. If you guys want to see any reviews of specific products that I've shown here, let me know in the comments and I'll definitely make that video for you. But for now, massive thanks for watching. I'll see you guys when the bike build is going together. Cheers!